Another engaging, thought-provoking day as we work towards building a brighter Pakistan. To kick off this afternoon, we'll be playing a short video from the JDC Foundation, Pakistan.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। जेडीसी वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन पाकिस्तान इस वक्त जिन फलाही शोबों में काम कर रही है, मैं कोशिश करता हूँ मुख्तसरन आपको एक झलक उसकी दिखा दूँ। सारा साल काम करना इंसानियत की खिदमत के लिए लाजमी बात है। हमारे वो प्रोजेक्ट जिसमें रोज़ाना की बुनियाद पे लोग उससे कनेक्ट हैं, चाहे वो राशन की तकसीम हो, लोगों के इलाज हों, तालीमी अखराजात हों, स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम हो। लेकिन जिस तरह हमारे डायलिसिस सेंटर चल रहे हैं उसके ऊपर रोज़ाना हर एक दिन छोड़ के मरीज़ ने लेटना है आके। हमने 50 डायलिसिस सेंटर का ऐलान किया था। इस वक्त कराची में आप मुख्तलिफ इलाकों में, आप सरजानी टाउन, आप 5 स्टार चौरंगी, आप समनाबाद, आप सोल्जर बाजार, आप लियाकताबाद, आप लियारी, मलीर, गुलशन इकबाल, आप जिधर भी देखेंगे आपको जेडीसी के फ्री डायलिसिस सेंटर्स नजर आएंगे जहां पर मरीजों को मुफ्त डायलिसिस की सहूलियात फराहम की जा रही है। इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड की पाकिस्तान की पहली फ्री लैब बनाई जा रही है। टीएलए प्लांट पाकिस्तान पहुंच चुका है। अरबों रुपए की मशीनें लगा दी गई जहां लोगों के खून के टेस्ट मुफ्त होंगे, लेकिन आपके ताउन की बदौलत होंगे। करोड़ों रुपए इसके अखराजात हैं। फ्री ब्लड बैंक, फ्री थैलीसीमिया सेंटर। आईटी सिटी में हमारे यहाँ 10,500 बच्चों को हर 2 महीने में आईटी की तालीम दी जा रही है। ई कॉमर्स के कोर्सेज कराए जा रहे हैं। घर बैठे $200-400 कमाओ। 3.25 लाख बच्चों को टोटल एडमिशन दिया गया। उसके अलावा हमारे दस्तरखान जहां भी आप देखेंगे, मोबाइल रेस्टोरेंट हो, दस्तरखान हो, कराची हो, मिट्टी थर हो, या फिर आज़ाद कश्मीर तक आप चले जाएं, लाहौर, पेशावर, पिंडी, डीएचक्यू अस्पताल, आज़ाद कश्मीर, कोटली तक, इन तमाम जगहों पे लोगों को खाना फराहम किया जा रहा है। हमारे ऑर्फनेज हाउस की तामीरात आप देख सकते हैं कितने बड़े पैमाने पर तामीरात हो रही हैं और ये बहुत बड़ा ऑर्फनेज बन रहा है। हमारे ओल्ड एज होम चाहे पहला वाला हो चाहे दूसरा हो, दोनों इस वक्त भर चुके हैं। तीसरा ओल्ड एज होम हम बनाने जा रहे हैं। इसी तरह से हमारी फ्री बस सर्विस चल रही है। लोग अब जब पेट्रोल महंगा होने की वजह से अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते थे किराया ऑफिस दफ्तर जाने का, एक कोने से दूसरे कोने तक शहर के फ्री बस सर्विस शुरू हो गई है। कराची में 1600 लोग अपनी मौत डेली मरते हैं, इंतकाल होता है लोगों का। एक ऐसी मॉर्चरी चाहिए थी जहां लोगों की मैयतें अलग अलग बॉक्स में रखी हों। तो हमने दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा मॉर्चरी का प्रोजेक्ट, 1000 मैयतों का मॉर्चरी का प्रोजेक्ट जाफर फैमिली फाउंडेशन के साथ मिलकर शुरू किया। इस वक्त हमारे पास 200 मैयतों की बिल्डिंग रेडी हो चुकी है। उसका इफ्तिताह होने वाला है, जहां मैयत फ्री में रखी जाएगी, फ्री में उसका गुस्ल कफन है। उसके बाद अगर मॉर्चरी में उसको बॉक्स देना है, कोफिन बॉक्स दूसरे शहर जाने के लिए, वो भी फ्री में। फ्री मैयत बस, हीनो कंपनी की करोड़ों रुपए मालियत की बस खरीदी गई, इनका नाम ही फ्री मैयत बस है। कब्रिस्तान फ्री, उसकी भी तामीरात जारी है। इसमें भी आप सब ने मिलकर हमारा साथ देना है। जेडीसी की एम्बुलेंस सर्विस वाहिद प्रोजेक्ट है जिसमें हम पेट्रोल के फ्यूल के चार्जेस लोगों से लेते हैं। बाकी तमाम प्रोजेक्ट हमारे बिल्कुल फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है। जेडीसी ने जो स्कूल बनाया जिसका भी इफ्तिताह हुआ है, आप यकीन जाने इंटरनेशनल जो पाकिस्तान का सबसे बड़ा स्कूल है उससे भी ऊपर का स्टैंडर्ड रखा गया है। जो प्राइवेट स्कूल आप जिसको बोलेंगे सबसे महंगा, हर क्लास में एसी है, जदीद तरीन फैकल्टी है, सारे काबिल तरीन लोग हैं यहाँ पर। बड़े बड़े स्कूलों के प्रिंसिपल, टीचर, इन सबको लाया गया यहाँ पर। 1 रुपया किसी बच्चे से नहीं लिया जाएगा। उसकी फैमिली से 30,000 रुपीज एक बच्चे पे खर्चा आ रहा है। सैलाब में जो हमने काम किया, लाखों बोरे राशन और जो कुछ हमने किया, खैमे की बस्तियां, सैकड़ों खैमे, हजारों खैमे, मच्छरदानियां, लाखों की तादाद में राशन के बोरे, जो कुछ किया आपके सामने। कोविड में जिस तरह हमने काम किया, दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी राशन ड्राइव चलाई। हम सिर्फ इतनी सी एक बात चाहते हैं, आप जो लोग भी हमारे इस काम को देख रहे हैं, आए, आगे बढ़े, हमारे साथ शामिल हो जाएं। हम जो भी काम कर रहे हैं, हमारा मकसद सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक है कि कोई भी शख्स इसलिए नहीं मर जाए जी वो अपने प्यारे का डायलिसिस नहीं करा सकता। तो वो कहां से लाता? एक डायलिसिस के 15,000 रुपए, महीने में 12-14 बार मशीन पे लेटना है, वो कहां से लाता? लाखों रुपए हमने मुफ्त कर दिया। हमारे IT सेंटर्स में लोगों को क्यों सिखा रहे हैं? रोजगार नहीं है। हमारी जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट हैं, फ्री बस हो, ऑर्फनेज हो, सब फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है। एक बार फिर आपसे गुजारिश करूंगा, दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में JDC के साथ जुड़ जाएं। हमने सियालकोट में भी फ्री डायलिसिस सेंटर शुरू कर दिया है, बस वो रेडी है, उसका इफ्तिताह होने वाला है। वहाँ हमारे पूरी दुनिया भर में रजिस्टर्ड हो रहे हैं। हमें आपकी सपोर्ट की जरूरत है, अपने लोगों की मदद करने के लिए आए, JDC के साथ जुड़ जाएं। महाना ₹1, $1, £1, €1, ₹1, $1 दिरहम, ₹1 दे सकते हैं। आपके पास कोई पुरानी प्रॉपर्टी आप वो दे सकते हैं, वो किसी अच्छे काम में JDC इस्तेमाल कर लेगी, आपको इसका सवाब पहुंचेगा। हमारे इस पैगाम को आपने ज्यादा से ज्यादा आगे तक पहुंचाना है। बहुत शुक्रिया।
The JDC Foundation Pakistan video unveils not just the walls of our NGO centres, but the beating heart of our mission. We invite you to be a part of this journey. I would now like us to introduce Mr. Zafar Abbas, the General Secretary of the JDC Foundation Pakistan. The JDC Foundation Pakistan is dedicated to humanitarian efforts without discrimination. Currently, JDC is involved in 89 projects like healthcare, education, food, disaster management, and more. The organization has played a significant role in addressing the challenges possessed by COVID and the recent floods in Pakistan. All of these initiatives are under the supervision of the General Secretary, Zafar Abbas, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to him, inviting him on stage to share his journey. It's also worth mentioning that he was also nominated for the Tamgar Imtiaz, recognizing his contributions. Welcome him to the stage.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सबसे पहले मैं शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा इंतज़ामिया का, उन्होंने इस अपने इतने कामयाब इवेंट में JDC को याद रखा। बेसिकली तारुफ जो था वो एक मुकम्मल आपने वीडियो में देख लिया। हम उन तमाम इश्यूज़ पे काम करते हैं जिस पे काम करते हुए लोग थोड़ा घबराते हैं, या NGOs एक वक्त में इतने सारे महाज पे काम नहीं करती, घबराती हैं। लेकिन चूँकि हम तमाम शोबों में काम कर रहे हैं, सेहत के शोबों में हैं, तालीम के शोबे में हैं, राशन से लेकर तमाम इश्यूज़ में काम कर रहे हैं। इसी तरह हमने हेल्थ के उन इश्यूज़ में काम शुरू किया, जैसे कि डायलिसिस एक बड़ा मुश्किल अमल है, और मैं समझता हूँ वो लोग जो गुर्दे के मर्ज़ में मुब्तला हैं वो जानते हैं कि महीने का 2.5 से 3 लाख रुपए एक मरीज़ पे ख़र्च होना, जो समझता हूँ कि कैंसर से ज़्यादा महंगा इलाज है इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में। आपको हर दूसरे दिन मशीन पे लेटना है, और उसके बदले में आपने 17,500 से लेकर 25,000 रुपये अगर अच्छे अस्पताल में आप डायलिसिस करा रहे हैं तो आपने देना है। और ये प्रोसेस आपका उस वक्त तक जारी रहेगा जब तक या तो आपका ट्रांसप्लांट हो जाए, और अगर ट्रांसप्लांट नहीं होता तो आप जब तक ज़िंदा हैं। हमने कोशिश की इसको पाकिस्तान भर में फ्री किया जाए। पहले मरहले में हमने कराची में 50 फ्री डायलिसिस सेंटर का इरादा किया था, और हमने अब तक तकरीबन 11 सेंटर खोल दिए हैं। सियालकोट में हमने पूरा एक सेंटर खोल दिया है, 3 महीने हो चुके हैं, वहाँ पर फ्री डायलिसिस हो रहा है। वो मरीज़ जो सियालकोट से कराची आते थे, अब उनको कराची नहीं आना पड़ रहा, अपने शहर में डायलिसिस करा रहे हैं। हम फैसलाबाद में एक ट्रांसप्लांट सेंटर बना रहे हैं जहाँ पर बिल्कुल मुफ्त गुर्दे का ट्रांसप्लांट होगा, और तकरीबन 25,000 डायलिसिस महीने के होंगे। ये तमाम चीज़ें बिल्कुल फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट हैं। एक बहुत बड़ा माफिया पाकिस्तान में जो काम कर रहा था वो खून की टेस्ट जो होते हैं खून की लेबॉर्ट्रीज़ के नाम से काम कर रहा है। उसके अंदर बहुत ज़रूरी था लोगों को पहले बताया जाए किस तरीके से लोगों को लूट रहे हैं। तो हमने उसके वर्किंग की पूरी 1.5-2 साल, और हमने आज से 1.5 साल पहले एक वीडियो जारी की। हमने उसमें बताया कि ये जो हमारे नॉर्मल खून के टेस्ट हैं जो हम किसी भी लेबॉर्ट्री से कराते हैं, जिसका हमसे 30-35 हज़ार रुपये लेते हैं, उसकी असल कीमत जो है वो 600 रुपये है। और उस 600 रुपये में पेट्रोल, फ्यूल, सैलरीज, जगह का रेंट, मशीन का रेंट सब शामिल है। और फिर हमने उसके बाद वर्किंग करते रहे पूरा साल भर। हमने सीमेंस से रब्ता किया जर्मनी में, और हमने फिर सीमेंस का वो प्लांट जो इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में किसी के पास भी नहीं है, TLA प्लांट पाकिस्तान में लाए, और हमने एक बहुत महंगी जगह कायद आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना के मज़ार के सामने ख़रीदी, वहाँ लगाया और उसकी ओपनिंग की हमने आज से 3 महीने पहले। फिर मैंने एक बार ख़ुद जाकर कराची की सबसे बड़ी लेबॉर्ट्री में अपने खून के टेस्ट कराए, और मैंने उनसे कहा ये मामूली से टेस्ट हैं करने। उन्होंने कहा ठीक है, 21,500 रुपये इसके होंगे इन टेस्टों के। मैंने कहा ठीक है कर दें। उन्होंने उसके साथ मुझसे बोला कि अगर आप चाहेंगे तो हम आपको 50% डिस्काउंट दे देंगे। मैंने कहा ये कौन सा डिस्काउंट है? उन्होंने कहा हम ज़कात काट देंगे। मैंने कहा नहीं मसला नहीं, आप पूरे पैसे लें। आप यकीन जाने मैंने 21,500 के टेस्ट कराए। वापस आके मैंने वही टेस्ट जो मशीनें हमने लगाई हैं जिसकी मालियत 8 अरब रुपए है, हमने जब उस मशीन की कॉस्ट डालने के बाद उस टेस्ट के पैसे निकाले तो मालूम ये हुआ HB1C टेस्ट जो मेरा उन्होंने 4,500 रुपये का किया है, वो तमाम ख़र्चे मिला के उसकी कॉस्ट आ रही है 17 रुपये। मैंने उसके ऊपर वीडियो बनाई और मैं लोगों के इल्म में लेकर आया कि हर घर में बीमारी है। आप किसी भी डॉक्टर के पास जाएं, आप अगर गलत तकिया रख के सो गए, वो आपसे पूछेगा ही नहीं कि जी आप रात में आपने अपना बेड चेंज तो नहीं किया, किसी नई जगह तो नहीं सोए। वो सीधे सीधे आपको बोलेगा कल MRI का टेस्ट करा के आ जाएगा। क्यों? क्योंकि 50% उसको लेबॉर्ट्री खुद ब खुद भेज देगी पैसा। MRI कितने का कराची में? 65,000 रुपये का। 65,000 रुपये का टेस्ट कराने के लिए आदमी पता नहीं किस किस से कर्जा लेता है। वो अपनी बेटी का जहेज़ या बच्चे की सेमेस्टर की फ़ीस जो उसने रखी है वो खर्च कर देता है, करा के आता है, मालूम होता है अच्छा जी MRI तो बिल्कुल क्लियर है, आप क्या गलत सोए थे? तो ये बात पहले पूछ लेते भाई। तो इसी तरह से ये जितने भी माफियाज की सूरत अब इख्तियार कर गए हैं पाकिस्तान में, हम इनके ख़िलाफ़ जहाद कर रहे हैं, हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं इनको लोगों के सामने लेकर आएँ और काम करके। आज इस वक्त आप अगर कराची की बात करें, दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी मॉर्चरी हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट लेकर खड़े हुए हैं, हमने तैयार कर ली है। हमारे इस वक्त जितने भी डायलिसिस सेंटर हैं उसमें जितनी मशीनें, देखें एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है सरकारी अस्पतालों में डायलाइज़र जिनका वास्ता पड़ता है गुर्दे से, उनको मालूम होगा डायलाइज़र रीयूज़ हो रहा होता है बहुत सारी जगहों पे। मरीज़ गया है गुर्दे का डायलिसिस कराने और उसका इंतकाल हो रहा है एड्स में, उसका इंतकाल हो रहा है हेपेटाइटिस B में, C में। क्यों हो रहा है? गलती से डायलाइज़र एक दिन मोहम्मद अनस को मोहम्मद अनस सिद्दीकी का लग गया, तो जो 4 घंटे 3 घंटे उसका खून घूमा उसके अंदर, तो जी वो बीमारी लेकर अपने साथ। तो हमने कोशिश की हम जो भी सामान इसमें यूज़ कर रहे हैं, जितनी किटें इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, वो सब कोई चीज़ भी दोबारा इस्तेमाल नहीं हो रही, वो एक बार यूज़ होती है और वो डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाती है। हमारी कोशिश थी कि हम रोज़गार के हवाले से काम करें। बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर बेरोज़गारी है लाहौर में, फिर इतनी स्नैचिंग नहीं है। कराची में तो आप मोबाइल लेकर रोड पर खड़े नहीं हो सकते, मिनट के अंदर स्नैचिंग है, गोलियाँ मार देते हैं, मुश्किलात हैं। हमने IT के शोबे के अंदर देखा, वहाँ पर जो कोर्सेज़ हमने दराज, eBay, अमेज़ॉन, इन सब पे हमने रिसर्च की, मालूम हुआ जी ये कोर्स वहाँ पर कराची में जो हो रहा था 1 लाख रुपए जिसकी फ़ीस थी। हमने एक IT सिटी का क़याम अमल में लेकर आए कराची की प्राइम लोकेशन नॉर्थ नाज़िमाबाद में, और हमने वहाँ पर एक ऐलान किया कि हम कोई टेस्ट नहीं लेंगे, जो भी फॉर्म भरेगा हम उसको एडमिशन देंगे, और ये कोर्स जो मार्केट में 1 लाख रुपए का हम फ्री में कराएंगे। और 2.25 लाख लोगों ने हमारे पास फॉर्म भरा, और तकरीबन 8 महीनों में अब तक तकरीबन 80,000 लोगों को हम वहाँ से सिखा के फ़ारिग़ तहसील कर चुके हैं। 60 साल की औरत भी हमारे पास आ रही है, हम उसको अमेज़ॉन के ऊपर उसकी शॉप खुलवा देते हैं, उसको सिखा देते हैं, वो घर बैठे अपनी चीज़ें तैयार कर रही है, उसके ऊपर बेच रही है। उसके घर में कल तक भूख थी, वो कह रही है मेरा बच्चा जो कमाता है वो पूरा नहीं रहा। आज वो औरत खुद $300-400 कमा रही है। कोशिश कर रहे हैं इसको मज़ीद फैला रहे हैं। लाहौर में मॉडल टाउन में गवर्नमेंट ने हमें जगह दी है, हम यहाँ पर फ्री IT सिटी लाहौर खोल रहे हैं। उस पर हम आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से लेकर और दीगर तमाम जितने भी जदीद तरीन कोर्सेज़ हैं फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट कराएंगे, और इंशाल्लाह खुदा ने चाहा तो इस महीने उसका भी इफ्तिताह होने जा रहा है। और हमारे इदारे की कोशिश ये है कि हम पाकिस्तान भर में, चूँकि महंगाई बहुत ज़्यादा है और ये बात समझाना हुक्मरानों को बहुत मुश्किल है पाकिस्तान में, क्योंकि एक बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस है आवाम और हुक्मरानों के बीच में। जो डिफरेंस है पैसों का डिफरेंस है, स्टेटस का डिफरेंस है। एक आम आदमी जो अपनी ज़िंदगी मोटरसाइकिल पे गुजार रहा है, लोड शेडिंग का शिकार है, वो एक हुक्मरान वो चीज़ नहीं जानता, वो दर्द नहीं जानता, उसको नहीं मालूम ये छोटी गलियाँ क्या होती हैं, बग़ैर लाइट के शदीद गर्मी में दिन गुजारना कैसा है, बग़ैर गैस के वक्त कैसे गुजरता है, वो कैसे ऑर्डर कर सकता है 5-6 हज़ार रुपये खाने का अगर घर में गैस नहीं है। तो हम उन तमाम महरूमियों के ख़िलाफ़ काम कर रहे हैं, रोडों पर उतरे हुए हैं, और हमारी हर मुमकिन कोशिश है कि अगर कोई कमी बेशी रह जाती है हुकूमती कामों में तो जो NGO अपना किरदार अदा करती हैं, हम भी वो किरदार अदा करें। और वही काम का सिलसिला जारी है और बाकी जितनी डिटेल थी आप इस वीडियो में देख चुके हैं। एक दफ़ा फिर मैं इंतज़ामिया का शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा, उन्होंने अपने इस फोरम पे हमें मौका दिया बोलने का। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू।
It's me? I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Zafar Abbas. We would now like to introduce Michelle Hussein Mullik
Not yet.
of the SAPAM on Human Rights, Special Advisor to the Prime Minister on Human Rights. Please welcome her to the stage.
I'd like to say that I want to express my sincere appreciation for all the incredible, commendable efforts of Future Fest that has put into organizing this Innovation Expo and Conference. The event is nothing short of spectacular, and I am truly grateful for the opportunity to have been a part of this today. This Innovation Expo provides a platform for groundbreaking ideas, cutting-edge technologies, and inspiring discussions. The diverse range of speakers and exhibitors showcase incredible depth and breadth of innovation across various industries. It is evident that a tremendous amount of dedication and hard work went through into organizing this event. And the accomplishments of Future Fest are truly commendable. Direct investment of over $200 million contributed by Future Fest will fuel the development of groundbreaking technologies, startups, and projects contributing to the overall advancement of various industries and economic sectors. Equally noteworthy is the creation of 30,000 direct jobs resulting from Future Fest initiatives. These jobs not only represent immediate economic benefits, but also underscore the potential for long-term sustainability and prosperity. Similarly, Future Fest Innovations Roadshow has been emerged as a dynamic platform that showcases the forefront of technological innovation. I'm glad to know that this roadshow brought together entrepreneurs, cutting-edge startups, industry leaders, technology enthusiasts from 40 cities and 80 universities. I'm sure that Future Fest Innovations Roadshow would have played a pivotal role in fostering a culture of technological awareness, collaboration, and ultimately contributing to the broad mission of advancing industries and shaping the future of technology. I would also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Saudi Prince, His Royal Highness Fahad bin Mansour, for his extraordinary contributions to the technological landscape in Pakistan. The Royal Highness' generous investments of $100 million to establish a tech house marks a significant milestone in the promotion of innovation and economic development in our country and will make a transformative impact on Pakistan's tech industry. Similarly, the introduction of international ride-hailing service Yango to the Pakistani market, encouraged by Future Fest, will enhance the daily lives of citizens by utilizing cutting-edge solutions. This innovation can ride service not only promises convenience and efficiency in transportation, but also has the potential to stimulate economic growth by creating job opportunities. Innovative technology plays an instrumental role in propelling the progress of nations across various domains. And youth plays a pivotal role in technological innovation and overall economic growth, and we see a lot of youth present here, so this goes out to all of you. And the adoption of cutting-edge technologies drives productivity and efficiency industries. The new concept of automation and artificial intelligence reduces costs, creates new markets, and encourages economic growth and competitiveness on global scales. As our country is embracing digital transformation The development of a tech-savvy workforce becomes essential to reinforce our nation's position in the rapidly evolving global economy. The active involvement of our youth in innovation, investment, and the overall economy is crucial as a crucial driving force for progress. Recognizing and harnessing all the potentials of this younger generation is the key to building a prosperous and sustainable future. Young individuals bring a fresh perspective and an innate inclination towards innovation. Youth-led startups and ventures play a crucial role in shaping the economic landscape, increased efficiency, job creation, and market expansion. Moreover, this active engagement in the digital economy and online platforms contributes to the evolution of business models. By investing in youth education, skill development, entrepreneurship, we can harness the potential of the younger generation as a driving force behind economic innovations and prosperity. And I firmly believe that one of the speaker who's going to speak at 5 o'clock today said that you guys are the future. I believe that you guys are the present. You are a big driving force for economic innovation and prosperity. It's how you take it. It's how you contribute. So this Future Fest is also a present fest for all of us. The way you're all engaged and want to experience, want to become a part of the changes and the revolutions through this festival. So I want to express my sincere appreciations to the organizers for the remarkable commitment and vision, which is very important, displayed in the Future Fest in providing free online IT training to 1 million youth. So this needs a big round of an applause. 1 million youth is going to be learning IT skills from this platform. This initiative will provide an opportunity for empowering individuals with valuable skills. But by investment in youth, Future Fest is contributing significantly to the overall technological advancements of our nation and also of the region. So in the end, events like these, organized by Future Fest, play a crucial, pivotal role in shaping the future. And I'm so very glad to be a part of this and at the forefront of this new innovation and technological movement, and for providing platforms that inspires creativity, promotes collaboration, and leads us to a more brighter, more sunnier, more innovative, colorful future. I look forward to future editions of Future Fest and the continued celebration of innovation. And continued celebration of innovation can only happen with robust participation of the youth, with their creative, with their revolutionary, with their artistic ideas. So embrace this festival with open arms. Come here with that, just like, that's the way the sun spreads sunlight. Come and embrace that sunlight and become that light and become that icon. And every one of you, I believe, is the present and also the future. Nowadays, we have children who are leading, child leaders all over the world. So I think it's nothing is impossible. You don't have to wait for becoming a senior to contribute. You can make remarkable changes in the world. And yes, every one of you is unique, is incredible, is dynamic, and perfection means being unique. So it's no need to compete. It's all about taking out your uniqueness and taking out your inner creativity and giving it that voice. So great. I wish I could also be a part of the IT training workshops. I want to learn. I think every one of us is growing, and every day, every moment, there are huge changes. And just before me, the speaker who was here, hats off to him and to the incredible social welfare work that he's doing. I think these are like true inspirations and unsung heroes and heroines of our nation and of the world also. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're all global citizens. Thank you. Think big, be big, and dream big. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle Hussain Malik, for your contributions and your efforts. Thank you so much. We would now like to welcome Kristen Anderson from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. give her a warm welcome as she comes to the stage. You ready?
Thank you. Hi. How are you all doing? Yeah. So I come from Norway because, as Mushal just said, was that she was at Oslo Innovation Week. And I've been working with Oslo Innovation Week for many, many years in Oslo. And that's where I'm brought Afak. No, I'm sorry, that's where I brought Ashish. Because Ashish, come on. So it's important to know that everything that's happened here is because of connection. And connection happens not by chance, but by looking for it. So I met Ashish in Texas, Austin.
Yeah, Austin, Texas.
Yeah. And we were talking because I have had Karachi Oslo Startup Challenge with 4 startups, 2 from Karachi and 2 from Islamabad, that came to Norway.
Yeah.
And then you were with one of them in Austin, and that's how we met.
Yeah, and that's how we met. And then I requested Kristen if we can continue some sort of that program, and then we'll try to bring more people. And we ended up taking 50 people to Norway 3 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, and it was like high level. It was Pasha people, it was people from Germany, England, like there was a lot of cool people coming.
Yeah, a lot of cool people.
Yeah, and then what happened?
We've done it for 3 years
You invited me back.
Oh yeah, I invited you back. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
So my first time in Pakistan was in 2019.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
No, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much.
So, and this is my 3rd time. And why I'm back is because of the people. It's not because of the order or the time or everything like that. It's because of the people. And especially in Lahore, you're very, how do you say, hospital. English is not my first language, just to say. I speak Norwegian. And there are several Norwegians here today, too. That's come because of this relationship and this, network. So when you're going out, meeting people, taking selfies, that's not enough. You need to find out, you don't need to meet and talk to everybody, but you have to find out and become friends, I think.
And invite them to Pakistan.
Invite them to Pakistan and go abroad, and also get brain crushes.
Yeah.
I love the word brain crushes. Go out and get brain crushes. And get education. And later today, you have to stay. The CEO of House of Math is coming to do a really, really good talk. So you guys have to stay and listen to that. And what more you want to say?
Okay. I'll just add here because Kristen has invited me to stage now. So Kristen is a very dear friend and someone who's not just supported me and my crazy ideas, but at the end now we've been able to take delegations of around 200 people to Norway since in the past 3 trips. The last time it was around 75, 80 people, and that's historic. That's never been done before. And it's only because, we find friends and supporters like Kristen who see the potential in Pakistan and who want to help bridge the gap, right? Because it's one thing that we all gather here together and talk about how talented the Pakistani population is. But we really need to go out and find allies across the world. And I'm so happy that Kristen has been a dear friend and ally in this goal. And this is her 3rd time coming to Pakistan. And hopefully she'll keep coming back and inviting us to Norway. And looking forward to getting together next in Oslo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Pakistan. Hello. Kush Amadid Salam. Welcome back, an official welcome back to day 2 of the Future Fest Festival. How many of you were here yesterday? Yes! So about a third of you. So we're buckle up, we've got a good few days ahead. I have to say that I absolutely love this country. I have been welcomed like no other, and in fact, my job here is to be your host. I'm supposed to be welcoming you, but I have felt that in return, you are the ones that are welcoming me, so I thank you so much for that. It's a testament to the Pakistani people, so thank you. We're here to learn and celebrate the remarkable advancements in technology that have shaped our world as we continue to push the limits of what's possible. I'm Nikki Bedford. I was head of Asia Pacific at BuzzFeed. I'm now founder of She Leads the Way, and I specialize in business transformation. And I'm truly honored to be your host. If anyone needs help scaling their business, strategizing in sales, leadership, or coaching, come and see me. I'll give you my card and we can have a chat. But in the meantime, let's get started. Is everyone ready to get pumped with technology? Yes! We've got a good crowd today. I am delighted to introduce our first guest. The topic today is Samir's unfiltered journey from startup despair to global innovation. So we're going to start with a little bit of an inspiring story this morning. Our speaker is Samir Punjani, the co-founder of Spades. Please welcome him to the stage. Round of applause.
Thanks, Nikki. Just 1 second, guys. I gotta wear my glasses because this is what old age does. All right. Can you all hear me? Yeah? Okay, well, first of all, Assalamu alaikum, Pakistan. It's a pleasure to be here and share my story with you. First of all, I've got a question, and just put your hands up so I can see you. That's why I'm wearing my glasses. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll be this side. Who's dreamt of ever owning their own business or starting their own business? Yeah? Well, we've got a few down over here. Yeah? And how many have you attempted at it? Yeah? Well, I hope that you guys have all been successful, but if you haven't, well, this is the journey that I've been through, and it's not to say that I haven't been successful, but I'll tell you that becoming an entrepreneur yourself is not always easy, right? And it's a journey that everybody goes through and learns from them. So I'm going to explain to you what I've been through with my co-founders, and I hope you get some sort of inspiration or some sort of learnings off it. Okay. So, okay, all right. Forget about this agenda. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to tell you what was it all about, right? What's the whole journey about? You know, it's about being resilient, being innovative, and being, you know, there in the moment, right? It's never going to be easy. It has its ups and downs, it has its rewards, and it has its learnings, right? And in our case, we were hoping to become, you know, like it said, global dominance, but at least it's better in the GCC where we're based out of, right? Now, let me tell you a little bit about Spades and why did we even name the company Spades. So in English, as you know, there's a common saying that pay in spades. I can pay in spades, you know, and so we kind of use that as a nomenclature to name our company. But the biggest thing what was Spades about is that Spades came out of the pandemic, right? You guys all remember the pandemic, right? You weren't allowed to go. We were all locked down for a very long time and things like that. And then if you had to go to the restaurant, you weren't allowed to pay with cash. At least in many of the Middle Eastern countries, you weren't allowed to pay in cash. You had to pay using cashless, right? So wireless card, Apple Pay, GPay, whatever it is. But what happened is that that was the way you had to pay, but nobody realized that you still had to order the bill and get the bill, and the person would physically give you a bill. So it defeated the whole purpose of, you know, non-contactless and so forth. So what we came up with was that, hey, why don't we make it completely seamless? Why don't we try to do that? And then what Spades did is that it connected to the restaurant POS. So if you ever go to any of the restaurants and you know they punch in the order with the system that they punch in the order, right? From there, it connects on that. You scan the QR code on your table. It brings it up. There's no app to download. It brings up the bill. You and I can split the bill any way we want, right? We can do an equal split, or I pay for my items, you pay for your items. We can do group payments, whatever you want. And then you pay by Apple Pay, you pay by GPay, you pay by, I don't know, Naya Pay, Sada Pay. There's so many wallets over here. Whichever way you want to pay, you can pay. And then that's it. It sends you the receipt and it closes the bill on the thing. So that's what Spades was all about, right? So it was about this whole starting in the dine-in space and expanding out, that what we could do differently, right? And so this is what we started off in, was restaurants. Let's start in restaurants. Why? Because people love going out, right? I've even seen it over here in Lahore, that people go out in droves. Like last night in the restaurant till 11 o'clock, the whole restaurant in my hotel, and there are 4 restaurants in that hotel, and they were full, and people still weren't leaving, you know? So it's amazing what you could do over there. Now, what did we face? You know, how did we do it? Yeah, we took a human-centric approach. Now, what does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. We went and actually discovered, we sat in the restaurant and saw this problem, right? We experienced it ourselves. Now, there's a company out there that was already trying to do this and was already experimenting in this place. It's called Sunday. They're based in Europe and in the States. And we went to Europe and actually went and sat and spoke to the restaurant managers and the waiters and asked them, how did they feel about it? What did they feel? We took pictures, that is what a human-centric, that's ethnographic research, right? That you guys know about. You need to do this in order to start your thing. In order to truly be innovative, you have to experience the problem that your customers are facing themselves. You cannot just come up with an idea and put it out over there. You're not going to succeed. You have to face it yourself. And that's exactly what we did. And we came back and said, okay, let's revise our proposition and let's do it in UAE and Saudi Arabia, where this is where we started, right? Right? It was supposed to be simple, and it is simple. It's a QR scan, you scan it, it's done. That's it. There's no app to download or anything like that. It's over, right? And last but not least, it was a solution that was meant to them. So we sat there, we go to our restaurants, we believe, listen to the feedback that we get from the waiters, the staff, the operations, and most importantly, the guests themselves, and always try to innovate. Now, what happened? Well, we had a lot of challenges. So no story is perfect. And so we had a competitor that came in, okay, to do the same thing. They're a copycat, they came in. The Rocket Internet. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Rocket Internet. Okay? They're huge. They're 200 portfolio company ones. And they're not shy to say that they copy everything. Okay? They were the guys, if you've heard of Namshi in United Arab Emirates, they sold it to the Ammar Foundation for $750 million. Okay? They were the ones who started Lazada, which is something like Daraz over here, or Amazon. And they sold it to Alibaba for $1 billion. So you can imagine what type of a threat we had, when they came over to go against us, right? And so they were undermining us, They started destroying us, in many areas of partnerships. They went nuts, right? They went nuts. They started throwing money at the problem. How we used to make our money is through the volumes of transactions. They were giving free transactions to the restaurants and going after our restaurants, and we couldn't compete, right? So what did we do, right? How do you go against when somebody who has millions and millions of dollars, and here's me and my 2 co-founders who have raised about $4 million, right, compared to their $100 million fund. It was impossible. And so we went through these resilience, and I'm going to tell you, it wasn't easy. At many times, we came to the point that we felt like, let's just shut down. Let's just shut down, let's give up, Let's give up, we're not going to be able to go against this giant, we won't be able to compete, how do you make it happen? And I'm sure, and the reason I'm telling you all of this is because those of you who have attempted to become an entrepreneur yourself, I'm sure you've gone through this story yourself. And it's hard. But the belief in one the belief in oneself and the belief in your product is crucial. And if you can make that happen, and if you can still keep on believing in the saddest of the times, right, you will succeed. And this is why we told ourselves that when did we come up with this idea? We came up with the idea when it was the pandemic, which was the darkest period of the current century. One of the current century, right? Nobody knew what was going to happen, right? But we still came out of it. Look at us. We're none of us are wearing masks anymore or keeping a distance from each other. We're all here and hugging and meeting each other. That's exactly what we said, and we said, let's do it. But what did we do? So what we did is that, resilience, What we did is we went back and we diversified. We went to the hospitality industry, and we went to hotels. You know, the hotels that you have over here, right? I mean, some of us, what we're staying here at the Pearl Continental, Hotel 1, Avari, you name it, and things like that. We went into the hotels and we diversified our solution into that area. What did we do? So now, when you're in your room, you know, when you order room service, what do you do right now? You pick up the phone and you call them and said, please, can I get this and that, whatever I like? And they bring it up to you, and then they bring a bill to you, right? Now, you can either sign on the bill, and hopefully it will be charged to your room bill, or they bring you the machine, and you have to pay. Well, now you no longer have to pay. You just do it in your room, and you scan it out, right? Furthermore, what we did is that if you want to go to a room bill, now I'm staying at the Pearl Continental, and I've been here a couple of times to Lahore, right? The front desk, I mean, it's such a popular hotel. The front desk is always busy. To check out of there at the time when everybody else is checking out, it's a nightmare, right? And it's a long wait. Now what you can do is just in your room, you view your bill, it calls the system, views the bill, and pay it the way you like, and walk away. No longer do you have to stop at the front desk and you make it happen, right? That is what we did to challenge our competitor. And our competitor because they did not have that knowledge. Sorry, can you change that? Thanks. Right? Yeah, no, one back, please. Thank you. Right? Because they did not have that knowledge, right? They could no longer throw money at the problem or buy the customers like they were in my restaurants, right? They couldn't buy them anymore. So that's the niche spot that you have to find. If you come across any sort of resilience of such nature, try to find that weak spot, that weak thread. There's always a silver lining. I can promise you there is. And it came to a point that they could not compete with us, that in the end, they told us, we will buy you. And so they bought us. They said, come and we can't beat you, right? We'll join with you and come together. And that's what they did. So that was Club, right, is the name of the company. What did we do? We merged our platform. Our platform is much more superior. The brand is still Club now. It's no longer Spades, right? Spades is diminishing. But the platform is ours. They removed their platform and put ours. And that's where they're doing right now. They're expanding. They're right now in United Arab Emirates. They're in Saudi Arabia. They're moving into Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. They're already in Australia, Singapore, Japan, and Brazil. Don't ask me why Brazil, but they're in Brazil. So they've already started this monopoly. What this monopoly means is that we were the only two players in the market. And now that's where the global. Now it's a monopoly of one. And as we expand and we keep listening, they're growing more and more. Right? I'm not going to, here's what I'd like to, this one, thank you, right? So growth in various markets and things like that. How do we keep on? That's a saying by Steve Jobs. I don't know if you've ever seen that statement, right? Stay hungry, stay foolish, right? That was our resilience. We succeeded, we survived just by staying hungry and staying foolish. We always learned, we always kept on listening. Doesn't matter whether it was bad advice or good advice or not, we took it and we filtered it out. And we kept on trying and trying and trying and trying. You know the saying, like they say, if you're going to fail, fail fast, right? And get up. That's exactly what we did. We lived through that and breathed through that, right? To make this happen. And one of the last things that I'm going to tell you, if you guys ever venture into this space, to become an entrepreneur of your own, always challenge the status quo. Never stop for that. Yes, it worked, and that's it. Keep on challenging the status quo, because the more you challenge, the more you'll be better. It's like life, you know? When we start off as kids, right? We keep on, when you first started learn to walk, right? You're gonna fall down 100 times before you're gonna get it right. And learning and things like that, and we keep on learning. That's the challenge status quo. So if you're ever gonna do something and you're gonna venture into the entrepreneur space, I ask you, I plead to you, that please do not just stop at what you got. If you want something in your product, keep on questioning it, keep on differentiating it, and listen to the end customer, because they know better. They're the ones who are using your product and giving you that feedback that you would not get from any stats, from Finistra, Eurostar, I don't know, whatever statistics you get. No data is true without the true customer giving that data. Yeah. So that's us. Were we successful? I don't know. Yes, we exited. That was it. We stayed resilient. We stayed innovative, right? And I wish you all the best. Thank you. Nikki? Yeah, no worries. Got any questions? Nikki will ask.
Do we have any questions for Samir? Any questions? Yes, we've got one down the front. Can we get a mic down the front? Azka? Azka, can we get a mic down the front?
You want to give it? I'll speak louder. I've got a pretty loud voice. That's what my voice is.
Hi. You said there was a potential competitor for your idea. So I needed to ask, did you contact with him to have a collaboration or something? I really didn't get it when you were speaking. So did you have a collaboration? Did you consider it, or did you contact with them or not? Thank you.
So initially, no. I mean, they were a competitor, so we were, forced to be enemies, if you want to say that. No, we didn't. I mean, of course, we were both competing in the same space, right, and things like that. And we felt that there was enough space. Look, competition is also good. Let me tell you this much. Having competition is very good because it validates what you're doing, right? It validates what you're doing, that you believe in this product, that someone else even thought about doing it, right? And they're even trying to gain that market space. They wanted a monopoly. They were huge, and that's the way, Rocket Internet works. They want to dominate the field in they compete in. And so they came after us, and that's it. And so when they finally saw money could not buy the customers, right? They could not destroy us with money, even though they had 100 times more money than us, literally. They could not. So in the end, they were like, well, these guys have done so well in their product, let us just join them and adopt their product and really dominate the world. And that's what they did. So,
great question. Anyone else? Any other? We've got one in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you in the blue. And then you'll go next.
Yeah, good question. No, it was literally us putting our foot on the ground and going to the restaurants and pleading to them. So it's really like a movie story, whether it's an Indian movie or an English movie that you may have seen. We literally went knocking on the restaurant doors. We built a video. We built a prototype. We put the prototype. That was the biggest difference, that seeing is believing, right? Seeing is believing. No pitch deck is ever going to do. That's why I hate putting up presentations myself, right? And I'm not good at them. But I'm very good at designing prototypes and making them happen. And what we did is we put a prototype and we showed them exactly how it worked, right? And we would go there and beg to them. And literally there were times, you won't believe, we would be waiting for hours outside that restaurant or in that corporate office of the group. And the person would tell us, I'm sorry, the CEO is no longer available. You wasted hours and hours. But that was our resilience. So that's exactly what we did. We put our foot on the ground and think. Of course, once it started picking up, word of mouth is big, right? People start believing in your product, and they started spreading it out over there. And then we got references from the current ones we're using, and we used that as a reference, right? So then it became a ripple effect, right? It just became, yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
And then we have another question over here.
Sure. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's a good question. Look, in my prior life,
Good question.
in my before I started Spades and things like that, I mean, that's exactly what I did. I come from the financial services world, creating innovative solutions in many areas, and that's exactly what I did. I used to challenge the status quo. I used to go that if this is a problem that you see, or I can see it, and things like that. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we did. I mean, initially, yes, we saw that. We saw that, you know, there was resilience over there and things like that. We went about different ways to overcome that, right? Like I said, word of mouth became big, and we used that heavily and things like that. We also started, you know, we started doing things differently, right? Really putting out the message out there, right? Do not be afraid of going on social media, even if you don't understand it, right? I mean, it is powerful. It is a powerful tool. It's a huge channel. We started putting out over there. We started building our own. We didn't have money so much, so we built, you know, we would hire people from Fiverr.com. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen of Fiverr.com. These are people that work for $5, and they, you know, and they'll create you a video. Yeah. Literally. So those were my first videos. Were done for $5, $10.
Yeah,
you know?
Me too, actually.
Yeah. And they built my campaigns, and what we would do is we'd really blast it to them and show it to them and things like that. And the biggest thing we would ask for, like I said, the best ethnographic research you get is your customer. No data, like I said, in Euromonitor or Finastra or anything like that, Statista or anywhere you get, there's no data that exists until it's the customer that gives it. So we got our customers to always provide feedback. It doesn't matter whether it was horrible feedback. Initially it was, because it's not a perfect product, right? But we took it, you know, with a strong heart, and we made it happen. And we used that to give back to the customer, right? Really challenging the status quo. So yes, where I would say answer to your question, do challenge the status quo. Don't stop over there. You're right. Figure out if there's a challenge, how can I beat it again? Yeah.
Wonderful. Great question. We have time for one more.
Okay. Time over. One more.
One more question. If you know.
Okay.
No
Thank
more questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Samir. Thank you. Just as we set up for the next panel, I will introduce the group. The next panel is Fintech Future, Redefining Finance in a Digital Age. Our speakers are Sanaya Vardak, the founder investing at 25. Please put your hands together. Let me just make sure that they're here. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, Sanaya, are you here? Yeah? Okay, great. Everyone's here. Okay, everyone's here? Okay. Okay, everyone is here. Yay! Let me get back into position. Okay, so our first speaker, Sanaya Vardak, founder, investing at 25. Nida Wasif, manager partnerships and alliances, Total Parco. Sayeeda Maruk Raza, founder and CEO, Lean Outset. Hunain Shahid, head of strategy and 3PL services, Tazar Technologies. And lastly, but not least, Karam Aga, COO, Hashu Group 4Pay, which is one of our sponsors. Over to you.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Future First event today, and we are going to start this panel discussion, and we are having distinguished panel from the fintech, finance, traditional and investment industry. So this is Maruk. I am founder of Lean Outset, and I am providing product consultancy to early stage startups. We are going to start, and I would like to ask our distinguished panelists to introduce themselves, and we are going to start from Nida.
Hello everyone, welcome you all on this exciting and a thrilling discussion that we will be having. This is Nida Wasif. I'm currently working with an oil marketing company looking after the partnerships and alliances function for the newly found digital payment solution which operates in a closed loop system. The name of the product is Infini, and based on my experience of developing that product ground up and scaling it into the market, I will be sharing my experience with you all. Thank you so much. I hand it over to our next panelist.
Our next panelist is Hunan Shahid, and he is Head of Strategy and 3PL Services at Taza Technologies.
Hello everyone, great to see you guys here. Quick introduction, I have a management consulting and VC background, primarily in UAE. I've been based there for the past 4 years. And won't take much of your time, we'll focus on fintech, but just I'm happy to be here because a lot of my professional experience has revolved essentially around fintech, especially when I was in management consulting. So glad to give you guys some insights.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Khurram Agha. I have been involved with the payment industry for over 25 years now. Worked in banks. Finally came more on the branchless banking side. Now finally looking after ForiPay, which is a payment service organization. We work in a very bank neutral perspective, aggregate payment services. I'm heading that out. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Sania. I am more of a marketer than a fintech person, so I'm really honored to be a part of this esteemed panel. I worked with multiple fintech brands like Wise, which is a money transfer service, and also worked with many Web2 as well as Web3 startups around the world, helping them out with organic and paid advertising. On the side, I have a project called Investing at 25, which basically helps people like me and a lot of you in the crowd to learn how to budget, how to save, how to invest, and use the products that all of these guys build as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your kind introduction. So we are going to start with the questions, but before that, I would like to say that please have your questions ready in your mind. So at the end of the panel talk, we will give like 5 to 10 minutes of opportunity for you to have a discussion and the questions from the panelists. So before even asking the question, I would like to set the stage that today we are going to discuss about the future of fintech and how the industry is changing from traditional financial transaction and everything into the digital space, and what is like the intersection of finance and the technology is happening in this ecosystem. All right, so we can start with our first question. So Nida, this is for you. So what do you consider to be the primary challenges and risks associated with the rapid growth of this fintech?
Okay, so Pakistan, just before the start of this session, we were having a very thriving and a very deep discussion with our panelists backstage. And we do agree to the fact that Pakistan remains a cash-dominant industry, and primarily for a very longer period of time, it would continue to be that mainly because although the technology is evolving, the banks are also coming into the digital domain, and there are a lot of fintech companies which are coming into the play. However, people what I have experienced from my product development journey, and then commercially launching it into the market, people still have this little hesitation and a factor of trust when they're using technology for transfer of payments from one point to another. So in the oil marketing sector, it is revolutionizing in such a way that instead of using cash, and it mostly came as a result of post-pandemic situation, where instead of having your payments done through cash, people are, on the hindsight, they have this hygiene factor in them. So they've started using different means of digital solutions to make payments, which first comes into the form of bank cards. And then in the oil marketing sectors, the companies are coming up with their own solution to ensure and to entail that the money remains dominant, money remains circulated within their own ecosystem. The other challenge which we have come across is the security concerns which comes with the use of technology. So when payments are taking place, it's live financial transactions which is happening in the ecosystem, and people have hesitation when it comes to being very sure that the payment that they are making to another person is actually going into their wallet. So these are two of the things. One is the digital awareness, and the other is the security reason which dominates the market in terms of people having the confidence to make digital solution. Nevertheless, all the fintech companies that are coming into the market of Pakistan and also globally, they are also very aggressively working, and religiously as well, to ensure that the product is well aware into the mind of the people.
Thank you, Nida. I think all of you can chime in if you want in any question. So the other question is almost interlinked, so you can build on top of that. So what are the trends do you foresee for the future of digital payments, and how it's going to impact the traditional financial space?
Just in an extension of the answer answered earlier. So the challenges that, talking about the MENA region, or maybe lesser so in the US, is the regulatory challenges that fintechs face. So I faced when I was working at a VC, that most of the fintech companies that used to come to us for funding, they did not have those regulatory approvals already in place. So that checkbox, if not ticked, a lot of VCs are going to, step back, or they're going to do a soft commitment and only materialize when, they actually get that regulatory approval. So in Dubai, for example, that's DIFC, and other regulators. In Pakistan, State Bank, a lot of licenses to these fintech banking companies or neobanks are given by State Bank or other regulators. So that is, I think, a key challenge. So get those regulations done first for fintechs, and that is going to remain a challenge because payments and transactions is a tricky space. The government or the regulator wants to control that space. Now coming to that digital space, digital payments, and in the international landscape that you asked, it's definitely going to grow. And I always say there are two reasons for that. One is that Gen Z is coming up, more penetration in mobile phone users. The second reason is that slightly the regulators are understanding how the fintechs operate, so more regulatory licenses are being issued, so more fintechs will emerge. Thirdly, there's a lot of funding for the fintech players still out there. If you go back to last 2 years or 3 years, fintech has to be the top 3 areas where the funding was channelized. So I think the payment landscape is definitely going to grow, and one of the key reasons is banking as a service. So a lot of banks have realized we can't work in silos, we need to work in collaboration with these fintech platforms. So that collaboration is going to increase that digital payments landscape.
Awesome. I think I would like to ask Khurram the same question, the challenges and how it's going to impact the tradition.
So I'll address this more from a consumer perspective. The fact and the reality today is that a cash transaction takes less than 5 seconds. So you need to break that barrier, and how do you bring simplicity into the digital transactions? So if you see, as an example, credit cards have gone from swipe to tap and pay. So it makes it a little faster. So digital payments also, you need to have the right product market fit behind it, that it actually solves the problem and how quickly can it be executed securely. How can I bring unification into that versus having to flip through bank A, bank B, bank C? How can you orchestrate it into a layer? So I'll use and I love to give examples of real life examples. If you walk into an Apple store, there is no till. Every cashier is the salesperson and the product is brought to you. Yeah, right, it might not work at a grocery store, but certainly it can work at a shoe store. But if you look at how our retail setup is done, across the board, there's a till, there's a POS machine, and either you're giving cash, you're using the POS, but you have to make the journey and that experiences, you have to go to a teller at the end. Whereas globally that is changing. Now, how can you convert that salesperson to be that merchant and the product is brought to you? So how do you make the transaction experience a part of your larger customer experience versus being an isolated incident at the end? So it drives down to how do you drive in that simplicity? When you have an Android or an Apple phone, I look at it as real estate. Every app is occupying space. People will undelete your app or delete your app if they're not utilizing it, let's say, more than once in a day or twice. So how do you get that user engagement in? How do you get that behavior change in? So it's a very complex structure, there's a lot of behaviors that we need to undo and work towards. But I think the key behind all of this is having the right product market fit for the right target customer and adding that simplicity into it.
I totally agree with you. So fintech is not only changing the two industries like finance and inclusion of the technology into it, but it is also tapping multiple more industries. And yes, user experience is more important. And whenever you are coming up with a fintech startup or any idea, you have to make sure that there is a need to it. You are solving an actual problem which was happening or encountered by the people who were using the cash, and you are trying to convert them into the digital space because that is the need of the hour. So with that,
sorry, yeah, I
would you
can
like
add
to add?
one more point. I think I can add the perspective from the international money transfers. A consumer, I send money abroad as well, and also from abroad to Pakistan, and have worked with brands as well who've done amazing work in that field. I think if we go back to the time where initial money transfers used to happen internationally, we used to use transfers, even now services like SWIFT, which takes a lot of days, which takes a lot of price. So it's a costly service that takes a lot of time, right? And then we had Amazon, we then had PayPal, we then had other platforms that came through, each of them turning into a phase which made it more simpler coming to the next generation, right? So it started, now we have Revolut, we have Wise, we have Monzo, we have all of these companies doing the exact same thing in the same field, but each time a new player came in the market, trying to make it simpler than the one before them. So I think the journey and of innovation is to just make it as simple as it can get, and I think that's the best innovation that we can get, as exactly like you were saying earlier, sir. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Totally agree with that. So yes, we know that we are having the traditional banks, and then there is a lot of fintech startups which are emerging on daily basis or on a monthly basis, right? So where do you, all of you panelists, think that there should be any mutual or collaboration work happening, or one supporting the other? And if yes, how? How do you think it?
See, I'll take that one.
Sure.
I'll answer that from three perspectives. Collaboration is key because everybody has a limited amount of funds. If everybody's going to go spend the same amount of money for the same tech stack, so I'll give this with a real life example. If you walk into the mall, there's 7 ATMs over there. Do you actually need 7 ATMs? Or do you actually need 2 ATMs over there and increase the coverage by taking those 5 somewhere else? So if you have the collaboration that gives you that ability to spend the money, collaborations can happen through areas of specializations. Collaborations obviously increases the reach, takes you away from things like price wars. You can concentrate more towards your product. You can bring in specializations through collaborations as well. So in my perspective, open platforms, banking as a service, collaborations is the only way to go.
I totally agree with that. So Nida, you should also add, because you have worked with the banks as well, and you know, like, and also tell us how open the banks are, traditional banks are, towards the collaboration.
So I believe that fintech organizations, when they're developing a product, when they're marketing a product, they definitely should take into account the traditional banking system, and they need to partner with the bank for multiple reasons, starting with banks have their own hierarchy and their own way of working. But one thing should not be ignored, that banks have a pool of information and pool of knowledge and pool of experience at the back end. Fintech organizations have the benefit of making a product, making a market fit product at a faster pace, which otherwise large organizations, complex organizations have a set of processes, procedures, and SOPs that we call. So it basically, but through collaboration, the two set of organizations come together to prepare a product which is suitable for a market, bringing together the expertise of the two different domains. Banks, what I have experienced is, they take a lot of time in doing a research and then taking approvals and then budgeting and all these things. Fintech organizations, on the other hand, can do the same thing at a faster pace. So the element of time to market is what they can leverage, but at the same time collaborating with the bank, partnering with the bank, taking their expertise like our panelists mentioned, that there is a regulatory element which sometimes is missing. So that is where the fintech companies can leverage with the partnering to the traditional banks.
Thank you so much. Varda, would you like to add?
Yeah, I think I'm going to add the marketing perspective here, because I think collaboration at the end of the day is brands building a community for themselves, right? And that community is your users, is your target audience at the end of the day. Whether you are a banking institution or a fintech startup, at the end of the day, they need to collaborate to get the ecosystem moving forward, because at the end user, for them both is the same, right? So I think to get that message across, again, simplicity, I'm going to come back again and again, as simply as possible. It is important that the traditional meets the innovation, and they deliver the message as simply as possible to the target audience in a communal way. Yeah, you can go on.
Also, a quick note on this. So a real example is when I was working in management consulting in the UAE, there was this company who wanted to do robo-advisory services, right? So they went to a service provider, they asked for a quotation, they got for $60,000 to create the algorithm, to create the backend infrastructure to robo-advisory so that they can create risk baskets for different stock portfolios. We advised them to talk to several banks in the US who already had that algorithm prepared. So they did that and they saved those $60,000. They came into a revenue sharing model. So two things happened. They saved a lot of money, and then the time to market was much faster. So without collaborations, I don't think this is even possible to, in the startup world, to grow and scale at a pace in silos or in isolation.
Very nice. So now we know that we have to solve the problems collaboratively in fintech space, but now question is, are we solving the problems of the same segment, or are we also taking some initiatives for the underserved digital market? So what do you say about it?
I think I'll take the start. So the banking population, so Pakistan is a nation of 230 million people. And the banking population, people, by banking population I mean people who already have a bank account or have some kind of services taking place from the banking as service. So that is approximately 10 to 13% of the entire population set. So these organizations like the Fintech, which are emerging and being very successful in the country, are actually working for the unbanked population. Banking has its own way for you to have your bank account. However, through simplifier means of being able to access an account, a digital wallet in other words, for somebody who is a college-going student through biometric means, biometric verification, these fintech organizations are enabling that environment where the larger audience, larger population is able to manage their finances through secure means. And we have very successful stories here in the country. Two leading fintech organizations who have actually achieved this target of reaching out to the unbanked population. They are also digitally inclusive, and they are inclusive in terms of the gender as well. So not to sound biased, but then we have a lot of female population who do not tend to have a bank account for whatsoever the reason. But through these digital wallets and similar other products available in the market, they are actually able to do that. Moreover, it's also enabling the freelancing community to have access to those elements of managing their finances, obtaining their financial aspects, for example, payments, through those means of fintech solutions.
Very nice. So we have covered that too. Yeah.
I would like to add a couple of things to that. Again, with an example. So supplementing what you're saying, why do I carry cash in my wallet? Because I know I can use it. So if I need to have the underserved coming more towards account opening and opening our wallets or having that money digitally, they need to have a place to use it as well. Otherwise, what am I going to do for it? Only one purpose, saving? What else is there? And whenever I need to use cash, because that's predominant, I go to an ATM and draw it out. So what we need to bring back is how do we bake in the micropayments that need to come in? How do you develop use cases around that? Bring the simplicity into it? And without the ecosystem supporting you, it can't exist. So it's a culmination of all three questions that you asked is the answer. You need to have an ecosystem, you need to have collaboration, you need to have simplicity, and you need to have the right product market fit.
I totally agree with that. So again, underserved, we have discussed that females and the students, and how about there are multiple other, for example, who are blue collar, or the people who are sitting in multiple markets where there are less literacy about the financial management and everything. So what about those initiatives? Is anybody taking initiative on those for those segments, or do we need to that?
So a lot of these benefits that come from these fintech apps or platforms is actually for the underserved. So, I mean, not many of us sitting in this auditorium would pay 30, 40 rupees for a transaction, right? Because we know what the rates are when you use our banking app. But if you go to somebody who is a blue collar worker who is spending his 8 hours, working somewhere, and if he has to go to a bank, to a branch and spend 2 hours to make a transaction, right? So that is the opportunity cost that he's lost working 2 hours. He could have earned more money. So for him, doing all that physical hassle means that he can transfer or maybe, pay that 30, 40 rupees. So basically he pays and the fintech also wins. It's not only that he is getting that advantage, because if you see Easy Paisa or Jazz Cash, a lot of these customers are basically, below a certain level of income. So that is how they create a win-win situation. And even internationally, a lot of apps are being developed for the gig economy, where they not only enable transactions for the freelancers or the blue-collar workers, but also they track expenses and advise and guide them. It's also an educational thing for them. So I think for them, they're the biggest winners, the underbanked.
I'll add more to it very quickly. That while I was, since I am looking after the scalability of a fintech product within an oil marketing company, one of the biggest challenges that we were facing for our B2B customers was that our B2B customers include organizations who have a large fleet to their services, because they have a lot of cargoes to be transported all across the nation. So how did our fintech product came into their use was that instead of giving cash to their drivers, which was prone to theft, which was prone to being stolen, which was prone to snatching, the fintech solution basically helps greatly in safeguarding the finances of a certain group of people. We must take into consideration our environment, which is prone to street crimes. So having digital currency, having your money saved up in a digital means actually saves you a lot of hassle, making it very simple for anybody to manage their finances in a safe and a secure environment.
Awesome. Where I have something to add.
Yeah, I think from my side, the main idea is that financial literacy is a topic that has been overlooked, is how I feel. And I think most of the panelists would also agree with that. And that is something not just in Pakistan, but globally, right? Because if I look at global awareness, when people, let's say, turn 18, they're forced to leave their houses, forced to get a job. Pakistan mein wo culture nahi hai is waqt, right? More often than not, people, once they graduate, or also when they're studying, the side business that they have mostly is freelancing or now drop shipping or learning things online and having an income, right? But the thing is that once we do have an income, we don't really understand what to do with that money, because we're not taught that. In our households, that topic is not a norm. We're not taught financial literacy at home. We're not taught financial literacy in our schools, in our colleges. If I am studying marketing, I will have 0 courses related to money management or even life skills, to be honest, right? So once I'm in the market and I have the money that I have been chasing for the last 16 years, that once I graduate, I'll make my income, I don't know how to manage it, right? But then we have these dreams because we're taught by the media, which is everywhere on our feed, social media, we have this thing that overnight success. What does that mean? That we'll turn into millionaires the next morning, probably. But you have no idea how are we going to manage that million, how are we going to manage the next $100 that we get. So I feel like financial literacy is something that needs to be taught at a grassroots level, whether it's in the urban areas or in the rural areas. It needs to be a part of the curriculum. It needs to be a part of the ecosystem that we're in, because these are the kids that then go on to make all these fintech, be a part of the fintech players, and then even grow it further, right? So I think it's a win-win situation for both, I would say, to continue on that.
So I'll segue into another segment into that, because you're absolutely correct on the financial literacy, but we also need to have literacy on how to safeguard your money.
Correct.
because as digital proliferation is going up, so are social frauds, scams, and even supposedly financial literate people fall trap to them. So the segue has to be that the financial literacy is there, and then you also get into how do you safeguard that money? How do you utilize it, and how do you safeguard yourself from all of these social and different scams that are happening?
I totally agree with both of you, and I would like to add that it's not that only underserved and the people who don't know about the money and the apps and the things need to understand, but also the literate people, so urban area as well. If I'm not a finance degree graduate, I still need to learn how to manage, how to invest, how to take money, where to use and all. And again, if we are talking about the underserved, we are also supposed to educate people who are not even normal graduate, right? For example, our house maids and people. So rather than giving them cash, we can also teach them how to use this and that app so they can also save their amount. And then there will be also a literacy which we are going to, yeah, sure. Add.
Absolutely.
I love that idea actually, to be honest, because I think household income is, not just my household, but everybody who's involved in my household, not just my family, but people who are helping my family as well are a part of it, right? But another thing that I do want to add to that is when you talked about, financial literacy, like how to invest, where to invest, I feel like in Pakistan, we have this notion that investment only is going to have returns when we go into real estate, right? That's the basic invest and everybody's taught at home as well. But it has a really high barrier of entry, right? So when we're talking about real estate investment, you need a certain chunk of amount to get into that, at least in Pakistan. So I think that user behavior also needs to shift, which is something that we were talking about earlier, that there are other platforms that teach you how to get into fractional stock investment. Abhi crypto is, a thing, it's trending right now, but when it dips, everybody starts running away from it. But these are the ecosystems that we all need to be a part of and learn more about, right? It's not a money-making mechanism, quick rich, quick wins, but actually learn yourself and also teach to others as well. So I think that's what I would fully suggest as well, yeah.
Totally agree. So now we can move towards a little bit understanding about the international market, right? So Hunan, you are having international exposure and everything, so this is for you. So what strategies should fintech companies in Pakistan adopt to succeed in the diverse international market?
Okay, so how Pakistani fintechs should...
Or global.
So basically, see, international markets are ahead of us. So most of the fintechs that start in Pakistan are, I don't want to use the word, but a mixture or replica of whatever is happening because it's tried and tested and they try to initiate something. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I know a couple of Pakistani startups who have gone into the Middle East region. A lot of other startups from other than fintech are also going outside Pakistan. And I think the reason is dollar-denominated income, more stable political situations and economic situations, right? So I think in that scenario, yes, Pakistani startups should explore international markets. But see, the fundamental idea behind a lot of fintechs is to serve the underbanked, as we've already discussed, and Pakistan has a huge underbanked base. So we can't ignore the fact, huge population, mobile penetration, ability to understand and make transactions using mobile phones. So Pakistan still is a huge market, but depending on the business model, sometimes yes, some startups do need to explore other markets because they are more stable regulatory environments. In Pakistan, a license can get revoked, for some, not going by the rules. But otherwise, in UAE, for example, if I worked over there, I can see that if you have a regulatory license, you can be fined, but the license cannot be taken back. So a lot of these stability, encourages a lot of fintechs from Pakistan to explore other regions, and MENA is a very easy target.
Would you like to add more?
See, again, I like to look at it from a different lens as well, because one perspective has been put in. So, if you look at our population size, and if we look at what is the opportunity in the market, and everybody talks about it's a great opportunity, but we're still waiting for our first unicorn. Are we hitting the right notes? Are we getting the right penetration across? Because if I take an example, what you were talking about adoption, 60 million users use WhatsApp right now, and they don't go to any helpline, they don't have any manuals, they know how to use it. So age-old consideration for myself is financial literacy, understanding all of this, getting the right notes, has to come through simplification. Our market right now and what the need of the country is, we want investments to come in. So let's target, we've got a huge opportunity over here. But do we have the right notes that we're hitting to capitalize on it? So I think there's a great opportunity within Pakistan only. So before you start looking at exploring outside, get it right over here. Get your act together, understand how a platform works, how an ecosystem works, then step in with countries which are far ahead of you right now. Because otherwise, you might get lost in the race as well. So let's get it right over here first.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, right? Before jumping into the international market, we have to fix our acts and the practice and everything. We have to validate everything that whatever we are doing is actually accurate, and then we go there and compete with them. Along with these notes, we have to wrap it up. Our discussion, I have gained a lot of insights from all of you. Thank you so much for being here and being the charm of this event. And thank you everyone for joining, for listening to us. And I hope you all have gathered some notes on how to penetrate into the fintech market and start your ideas and everything. And with that, we are going to conclude it. Thank you so much, panelists, and thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Okay, how's everyone feeling? Having a good day? You're learning a lot? That's good, I love the enthusiasm. We have another speaker coming up, an incredible speaker, talking about, okay, this is a great subject, killing the myth of the lazy genius. Would anyone put themselves into that category? Lazy genius? Couple of hands? Oh, a big hand over here. Lazy genius. I feel like that's the most productive way, right? Being a genius and then just knowing that you can just ease into it, but it doesn't really work like that. So I'm happy to introduce, I just want to make sure that she's ready and all mic'd up. We have Vibeke Gwendolyn Frensgrud, the founding CEO from House of Math. Please put your hands together.
Yoo-hoo! This is what I like. That's having like a true audience. I can't believe you all didn't get up and go like, yeah, Justin Bieber! Fabulous. Well, this is my company, House of Math, and I'm going to talk to you about killing the lazy genius myth. And you're all, what's that all about? Well, all of us on this planet, in every country, believes that there are people who are magically good at mathematics. And best of all, they do nothing for it. They just woke up with a divine intervention of having all the math in the world in their heads. Well, let me say this in a kind of Norwegian kind of way. Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. When you look at videos or movies or series about the tortured genius, what do they spend most time doing? Are they on the beach? Are they hanging out? Are they partying? Are they watching Netflix? What are these geniuses always doing? They are working very hard all the time. And every series, every movie, most of the time, they're the loners who don't go to the party, don't do the sports, don't entertain, they only sit and work. So why do we all buy in to the lazy genius, the person who just knows it all? I don't know. So, for me, this is what House of Math is all about. We're on a mission to empower your future through knowledge. And then I always say, and some hard work. Because you ain't getting nowhere without hard work. So let me show you a little video. Or not. I think, do you have to start it from here? Thank you. Yeah, I think you have to go back to, and then you have to push play. Yeah, here. No, where it is, the purple, you have to push play. No, it's not. Okay. Technical problems, you don't get to see a video, but I'll tell you what it's about. It's fantastic, showing you how math is a nervous system of all of society. Math is the essence of everything. The reason we're sitting in this auditorium and the roof is not caving in, it's because of math. The reason you're sitting on that chair, you're not falling down, it's because of math. The reason why you're filming, it's because of math. The reason we have this light, or this screen, or this sound, it's all because of math. Math is a nervous system. Math is a universal tool to understand the world. If you know math, any subject out there will also open up to you. So I'm going to tell you the following. The biggest problem here, I need to make sure that this actually works, is that most of us don't know how to learn math in the smartest, easiest, and most efficient way. And how do we know that? Because no matter what country I go to, no matter who I talk to, there isn't a person who doesn't have a story with math. Can you imagine that wherever you are, when you look around, if you're in this country, another country, at work, in a kindergarten, wherever you are, every person you look at has a relationship with mathematics. And never has it ever happened that any of us lied in bed at night thinking, I wish I just flunked math. It never happened, ever. When we lie in bed at night on our own, thinking is then about how can I master math? How can I make this work? I'll tell you this. I'm the founder of House of Math. I have a master's in math. I have a minor in physics. I'm educated from Harvard and Stanford and wherever. But I'll tell you one thing. I flunked math in high school. Our grades in Norway starts at 1 and ends at 6. I got a 0. That's not even a grade in our system. And you're like, how can you stay on stage telling people you flunked math? You are such a miserable person. What a failure. Yes, I've failed over and over again. I'll say as Michael Jordan, 26 times have I been entrusted to take the game-winning shot and lost. He's at least failed 26 times in front of tens of thousands of people. Have you ever thought about him as a failure? Michael Jordan, just such a failure? You haven't. Look at Tiger Woods, the most winning golfer of all times. Of all times. Did you know that he loses 90% of all tournaments he attends? 90% of the time, he is a loser. He failed because he didn't win. We need to put things into perspective. You have this guy in Norway, which I think is the most incredible person ever. His name is Cato. When he was 15, he climbed up in one of these masts that has a lot of power in it, touched and burned off both his arms. Horrible tragedy. But do you know what he did 10 years later? He went to the South Pole on skis, 1,130 kilometers, 3,000 meter change, in minus 40 degrees without arms. Can you imagine doing 1,130 kilometers in minus 40 degrees on skis without arms? Some would call him an idiot for climbing up that mast, touching that, losing his arms. But can you imagine what he has proved? Failure is all about learning. Failure is all about getting better. And being a winner. Thank you. And being a winner isn't about winning. It's the choice of never giving up. I always said I was born with 2 holes in my heart. I was supposed to be dead by 12. I'm on way overtime. But I chose to be a winner. That means I chose to never give up. And now I get to be in Pakistan all the way from Oslo and talk to you. To me, that's winning. So let me now look at step 1. What do you do to learn math? What did I do? Because I had to teach myself all the math. I didn't get any help anywhere. So I know how it is to go from flunking to having a master's in math. It's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what I did. You need to decide you can do it. One of the biggest, #1 leader in Norway, Kristin Skogen Lund, she once asked me, what on earth made you think that you could do math when you flunked? I've also written 11 math books, so I've kind of done a lot of math. And I said, why shouldn't I? That's a crazy question, I figured. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with me. Okay, I have a little weird heart, but that's nothing to do with my head, does it? So I figured, why shouldn't I? People keep telling us all the time why we shouldn't be able to do stuff. And I was like, no, I can do whatever I want. Why shouldn't I be good at math? Millions of people are good at math. Why shouldn't I be one of them? It's actually unfathomable to me why I shouldn't be one of them. So I decide that I can do it. And that's what all you need to do as well. You just decide, I will do it. It's a decision. It's like deciding to be a winner. It's not about winning, it's about doing. And deciding to master math, it's about doing. Step 2. Or not. There we are. You need to fill in the gaps. One of the main reasons people struggle with math is they try to do math at a level they're not capable of. What I found out when I was 20 at the time, and I didn't even know fractions. I should have done equations and differentials, but how are you going to do that when you don't know fractions? It is impossible. So you need to fill in the gaps. You need to be able to walk backwards in order to move really fast forward. But you got to be willing to do the job. So you need to make sure you fill in the gaps. And then there's another thing. How do I know what my gaps are? Well, that's why I built House of Math. You can just go on, take a mapping quiz, and we'll find your gaps and you know where to start. We do individualized learning, not chucking you through the same pipe, thinking you're all the same, because you are not. But you need to fill in the gaps. Number 3, do loads of exercises. Do you remember I said, in these movies, you have to see how much math or whatever they do. If you saw the Netflix series now about Michael Schumacher, where is he when everyone's out partying? He's in the garage. Where is he when things are going on that everyone else is attending? He is with his team in the garage looking at his car. There's nothing different when it comes to math. It's a volume game. They say if you're going to become a top athlete, you need to put down 10,000 hours, 10,000 training hours. This ain't any different. And you don't have to become the best in the world either. So you don't have to put in nearly 10,000 hours. But you need to do the exercises, loads of exercises. And at House of Math, we have unlimited amount of exercises. So we'll supply you forever. which is kind of nice. Step 4. For some reason, math is hard to read. It is for all of us. It's like you sit down, you read, and it's like, yeah, I kind of have no reason. I don't understand. Don't really know what this thing is telling me. But you cannot give up. Once when I was in university, I had to learn this little, it's like a little paragraph. It took me 12 hours. 12 hours. Why? Because it talked about so many things. I had no clue on what was. So for every sentence, it was like 4 sentences, that paragraph. I had to go to another book and read another chapter. But you need to learn the theory. At House of Math, we've made that all perfect through 3D animated